Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our special coverage of the Bio Cup for 2018. Lucky you, because this next few weeks or months, however long the Bio Cup lasts for, you're going to be getting 2 Bionicle Inspiration Series episodes per week. One will be the traditional normal show, and the other will be our coverage of the Bio Cup. If you haven't checked out the Bio Cup trailer yet, do so now and get yourself hyped for this awesome contest. So the Bio Cup doesn't quite begin just yet. It begins June 15th. But that doesn't mean we can't get hyped for the contest to come. So, this episode, we're going to give a little bit of a look back. A little bit of a throwback Thursday. I hope I post this on Thursday. I don't know when I'm posting it yet. But it's going to be a little bit of a look back at the Bio Cup 2017. We're going to take a look at 3 of my favorite entries from the contest then. But before we begin, let's give a quick rundown on what the Bio Cup is, in case you're sitting there and you're going, I don't know what this is. So the Bio Cup began back in 2011, I want to say, back on Mock Pages, and it lasted for quite a few years. It happened in 2011, 12, 13, 14, and then I think about 2015-ish, it died as Mock Pages became a little less active, and now it's come back in 2017, and it's here again in 2018. It is essentially a elimination round sort of contest to decide who the victor is. So essentially everyone enters, do all the rounds, you have a good time, and you can win sweet prizes. Let's actually cover the prizes from last year, because there were some cool prizes, and as we've been promised, the prizes that are coming up this year are bigger and better, so get excited. So last year the contest allowed you to win a sweet trophy made by Patrick Biggs himself. You also won $20 if you won. So you got the trophy, $20, and the Elite Praetorian Guard Lego CCBS set. And that was even better because that set had only just come out. So that was even more exciting back then. So yeah, you get 3 sweet prizes if you get first place, and if you got second place, you won $10 and a trophy as well. So that's pretty good. But like they said, the prizes for next year are going to be bigger, better, and more awesome. So sadly, those haven't been announced yet, unless they have when this video comes out, in which case, dang it. But get excited for the prizes this year, because they're bigger, better, and more awesome. And speaking of the prizes, I know you're like, Ben, get to the mocks, but we've got some exciting stuff here. Take a look at the links in the description below to the Flickr group for the Bio Cup, because you can actually win some sweet prizes literally by just promoting the contest. So as it says on the Flickr group, let me read it to you. If you enter any of the raffles, or you simply just enter the first round of the Bio Cup, you go into the draw to win. So everyone that participates in the preliminary round and or promotes the Bio Cup, e.g. via Twitter, Instagram, Flickr, any of that sort of stuff, then you are eligible to enter a raffle. 2 winners will be selected entirely at random. One will win a Villain and Hero pack from Bionicle G2, and the other will win the coveted New York Comic Con mask. Both of these raffle prizes have been provided by BZ Power, and we would like to thank them for their help. So like I said, look in the links below and literally just promote the contest, and you could win a sweet prize. I wish I was doing that, but I'm just having fun making videos, so I ain't going in the draw. Unless I am, I don't know. Another exciting thing about prizes. Last year, you just got an award if you were in first or second. This year, if you get in third, you can also possibly win an award. So, yeah, excitement. Speaking of excitement, let's transition very nicely into my favorite 3 mocks from the Bio Cup last year. So we're going to begin with a mock called Hob by Vlad Lesin. Now Vlad Lesin took home the Bio Cup last year in 2017. He was the victor. So let's cover not the winning mock of Vlad's, but one of my favorite mocks that he built specifically for this contest. So this guy is called Hob, and apparently this comes from a game, which is a little indie game called Hob. Hob is an indie adventure game that tells the story through interaction with the environment rather than through dialogue, which that's really cool. That's really cool. So, obviously he's built the character Hob. Now what I love so much about this, let's begin the episode. Hob has a really, really nice distinction here in terms of this sort of big robot arm thing that he's got there, although from the source material it looks more like a stone arm, although it looks a little bit robotic. I don't know. But regardless, here on the mock it looks robotic. Even if we're ignoring the source material, that's cool in itself. And I really like the fact that that arm is very primarily system. There doesn't really seem to be any Bionicle parts there, maybe like a couple for like the sort of bone structure inside it, but that part is system and the rest is more primarily Bionicle. And I think that's really cool because it kind of creates a very clear distinction between the two. Because if you look at the source material, we can see that arm is very distinctly different to everything else on his body. It almost looks sort of, not quite alien, but, you know, it's an enhanced arm to some degree. And so making that kind of contrast there between system and Bionicle is a really nice way to sort of show that differentiation. I think that's very, very awesome. And speaking of very awesome stuff, really cool to see how expertly crafted this MOC is. You know, all of the red on here is essentially kind of cloth elements as per the source material, but instead of using actual Lego cloth or cloth in general, Vlad has expertly crafted all of these CCBS shells, bones, Bionicle pieces, even a couple system pieces there, to create this super cool looking cloth sort of thing. And it still looks like cloth, even though it's not actually cloth. So maybe you don't own any Lego sets that have cloth, or you just don't want to use them because you just don't want to use them. Or maybe you can sort of craft some CCBS shells and pieces like that to form essentially cloth. Looks awesome, doesn't it? Speaking of cloth, really cool to see these baggy pants here, using some of these old Metru torso pieces there. They work very well for that, and it's so cool to see these pants in general being crafted and shaped in such a lovely fashion to create pants. It looks so good, it looks awesome. So that's about it from Vlad Lesin. Congratulations on winning the Bio Cup last year, Vlad, well deserved. Who's going to win this year? Is it you? If you're listening, maybe it could be. And I want to say this, by the way, because in the trailer I had a bunch of people comment and they were like, I'm going to lose. I'm not going to enter. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. No. One, even if you just enter, you're going to win a prize most likely. So just enter for that alone. Two, don't say that about yourself. If you think you're not going to win, well, guess what? You're not going to win. To quote Count Dooku from the Clone Wars, the task is only impossible because you deem it so. Do or do not, there is no try, guys. Quoting Yoda now, quoting everyone. If you believe you're not going to be able to do it, well then guess what? You're not going to be able to do it. But if you say to yourself, you know what? I think I'm gonna give this a go, and I think I'm gonna see where it leads. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah, maybe you'll lose. Maybe you'll get kicked out first round. Who cares? A contest isn't necessarily about winning. Obviously destroy the competition and claim your prize and be the victor, because that's fun in itself. But you know what's more fun? Just being able to build something. And I've seen this before. I've seen a few people say like, oh man, I love a contest because normally I don't know what to build. But when someone tells me to build something, man, that's my vein of gold. That's when I'm ready. That's when I can hit stuff. And yeah, maybe that's what a contest can do for you. Maybe that can be the sort of little jig or the twist of the arm that makes you get into building, inspires you, and gets you passionate to want to do something. So don't sit there in disbelief. Don't put yourself down like that. Maybe you can. Just give it a go. See where it takes you. Who knows? Anyway, let's move on to the next MOC, which is by Poor Disadvantaged, and it is called One More, O Mighty Sun God. Now, I love this MOC. I think this is super, super cool. There's a lot of awesome stuff going on here. He's actually used one of the CCBS Ultra Build Star Wars Ultra Build sets. He's used the Finn headpiece for an actual headpiece. Because obviously this is sort of like some kind of voodoo mage warrior guy sacrificing a Spaniard on a sacrificial table. Awesome concept, awesome MOC. And such a cool way to make a humanoid character, to just simply use the humanoid head that, you know, you see in a Star Wars set. And even cooler to kind of differentiate it from looking too much like Finn by using that really cool CCBS G2 Bionicle part there, sort of over his eyes to look like a mask. It's amazing how well that fits over that Finn head. It almost looks like it's meant to be. It's very, very cool. So awesome to see one of those heads being used so nicely on a MOC. And even cooler to sort of see all these Chima feather pieces there combined with the rest of that sort of mask, headdress kind of thing to make him look so sort of tribal and voodoo-like and awesome for that matter. Speaking of that voodoo tribal stuff, also really cool to see these witch doctor masks and all these other sort of white bone-like pieces to reflect kind of like a skull bone shaman awesomeness. Very, very cool. Very nicely done. Especially because this round was all about building a MOC in the sub-theme, The New World. So obviously it's sort of representing, you know, here's this Spaniard guy, he's like, haha, I'm going to head out into the wilderness and discover civilization, and ends up getting slaughtered by voodoo witch doctors. Oops. It's a very cool, very, very, very original take on the theme, and that's something that's also really cool about the Bio Cup. You can just, you know, you can take the theme and do what you want with it. You don't have to necessarily follow the rules if you can bend them slightly. So there you go. Something else I really like here is using the Paraka blade here that has that sort of marbled texture of white and red. Almost looks like there's blood dripping from the weapon, like the poor little Spaniard has been stabbed a few times there. Very, very clever part usage there. Very awesome. Speaking of very awesome stuff, I love this sacrificial table. It's very, very primarily made out of Bionicle. Got some nice system highlights there too. Very, very cool. And what a nice little addition to add these little sort of flame bits and the sacrificial table and stuff. You know, maybe you built your cool shaman or your cool Spaniard guy. Why not build a sacrificial table or a little temple or something else to go with it? Because who knows? Might be able to do something fun there. And kind of add a little bit more life and personality to the MOC. So yeah, give that a go. I think it's a very, very clever addition there. Let's move on to the last MOC, which is by Zyantro, I think, and is called The Hunter-Gatherer at Dinner. Now, this round was all about, the theme was history with a sub-theme of prehistoric. And he said he didn't really want to build a Rahi because he kind of done that already. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to kind of, build a, old sort of prehistoric hunter-gatherer kind of man. Another great original take on the theme, very awesome, and some very awesome stuff going on with this MOC too. Some very nice torso shaping on here. Really cool to see. If we look at sort of the ab area of the MOC, he's got a sort of tan CCBS shell there, and then some of these Technic panel parts there that have been angled very, very nicely. It almost looks like that's one complete piece, but it's actually just lining them up very nicely. Really, really cool, isn't it? A nice way to create a very smooth, beautiful texture there. I also really love the head design on this MOC. Obviously, this is essentially a human. Not necessarily something you see every day. Obviously, most of the time, MOCs that people build are robots or Rahi or creatures of some kind. Actually, surprisingly rare to see an actual human. So very cool how that's been done on this MOC. And even cooler to see all of the hair and the beard and everything, using a lot of those Exoforce fingers and various claw pieces, and then some of this sort of Chima CCBS fur stuff on the beard and sort of hair and stuff like that. The texture and everything there looks so, like he's saying, an old hunter-gatherer, like a caveman, something like that. The texture really fits the theme and just looks awesome. Also, again, really cool to see little additions that really add a lot more personality to this MOC, like the little bushfire that he's starting here, and then even some of these weapons, like a shovel and a spear and all sorts of different fun things like that. So, yeah, a very, very, very cleverly designed, very awesome MOC. Anyway, that is it for the 3 MOCs that I wanted to feature that covers the BioCup 2017. Now, we move on to the BioCup 2018. Again, it starts June 15th, so get ready, get building, and get excited, because it's contest time. And pretty much one of the biggest Bionicle contests of the year. So definitely something to look forward to, definitely something to be excited about. Once the contest gets underway, I will be covering my favorite MOCs of the ones that are being submitted or have been submitted, depending on when I decide to make the episode. And then once each round finishes, I will cover the top 3 winners. Most likely, unless I decide to change my mind, but I probably won't. That's probably going to be the way we do this. And then, as has been teased on the Flickr group, we'll probably see a few BIS podcasts with some of the participants / some of the judges. We shall see. We shall see. So, get excited. And hey, another reason to join, if you join and your MOC gets through, or even if it doesn't get through and I just like it, it may be featured on BIS, or you may be featured on a BIS podcast. Who knows? Who knows? So, like I said, check the links in the description for some more info on the BioCup. Get excited. And also check the links in the description for the MOCs that you saw in today's episode. Be sure to check out what these guys have done, and be sure as well to check my social media links in the description, because those are the places you can submit some of your theme ideas or some of your MOCs to the show. That's all, folks. Hope you have a fantastic day. Happy building. Enter the BioCup. And have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye for now, guys.